Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. Today we will be talking about how to make a granny square. The video timestamps are as follows, so if you want to skip to any of the steps, please feel free to use that as reference. So let's make a start just with the introduction. Here I'll be talking about possible projects that you can make with a granny square and also the materials I will be using throughout this tutorial. So what exactly can I make using a granny square? Well, I've seen lots of different project ideas, from pillowcases to blankets, bags, and even sweater vests. There's a lot of different possibilities when it comes to this. But that was only a small handful of ideas out of the very many projects that you are able to make when it comes to using granny squares. So knowing how to make them can be really useful because it opens up a lot of avenues for many different projects. And now I'll just go over the materials that I'll be using in this tutorial. This crochet hook was sent to me by Mindful Knits, so thank you very much Mindful Knits for sending it to me, along with the yarn as well. It is size E, or 3.5 millimeters. The yarn is a 100% cotton yarn in the shade Fresh Bamboo from their Zen kit. It's about 50 grams. The recommended hook size is H, or 5 millimeters, and I still find that it works very well sizing down the hooks for a tighter stitch. To start off, we have to make a slip knot or a magic circle. This is totally up to you, whichever you prefer. I know we all have our own ways. I personally don't prefer the magic circle. I like going from a slip knot, and I'll show you what I do. So I wrap it around my fingers, and then I actually take the tail of the yarn, and that's the part that I use to make the loop, because whenever you do that, the tail pulls out really nicely, and it's much easier to tighten this loop, whereas whenever you use it from the working yarn side, it's a bit more difficult to tighten and it can affect the tension of your stitches. I'll also just show you how I hold my yarn just so it's more efficient as I'm working. I grip the working yarn between my pinky and ring finger. It goes around the front of my middle finger and then the back of my forefinger. Just like so. And then I hold the tail between my thumb and middle finger, and then it's a lot easier. I find it's a little tricky starting out, but it's actually a lot easier down the line to just keep working with this kind of hold on your yarn, but of course just go whatever works for you. So after I've done the first chain of 3, I'm going to go back into that first chain loop there. So yarn over, through the first chain, pull the yarn through, yarn over one more time, and then pull through all 3 loops on the crochet hook. This is because I'm doing half double crochet, so I'm just going to do it again one more time to show you guys. And this will complete our first set of 3 stitches in the first loop. Now after that we will chain 1, and this will help to form the corner of the granny square. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all 3 just for another half double crochet stitch, and this will start off the next group of 3 that we are going to be crocheting. This time we will do 3 half double crochet stitches rather than 2 because there's not a starting chain to count as an extra stitch. And that makes our 3rd stitch. Now we will chain 1 again just to help form the corners. Sometimes people like to chain 2 just with the first row. I prefer to chain 1. I suppose it depends on your yarn, but I find it's better for forming a much neater square. And then we're just going to do another set of 3. Now that you've finished that set of 3 half double crochet stitches, you're going to go back again into the same loop and do another 3 half double crochet stitches. So now you've done 4 sets of 3, and you can see them there, and you can start to see little corners forming as well, just where we did that chain 1. Now we're going to join back with the first set of 3, or rather the starting chain, by chaining 1 from our current stitch, and then you're going to count up 1, 2 stitches of that chain, and the second stitch is the one you're going to go through. Make sure you go under both of the loops of the V, and then you just pull through as a slip stitch. And that is your first row complete. Now let's make a start on the second row. So the first thing I just want to point out is make sure you are grabbing from the working yarn and not the tail. You can see I'm holding the tail there. Don't grab from it, grab from the working yarn. The working yarn is the string which is still attached to the rest of the ball or the skein of yarn, so make sure you're working from there. So to start off, we will chain 3, and then we're actually going to jump over that first set of 3 just right in front of us into the next corner, and we're going to make 3 half double crochet stitches in that corner. And then actually, instead of chaining 1, from now on we will be chaining 2 at each of the corners. So chain 1 and then 2, and then go back into that same corner gap right here, and you will continue to work another set of 3 half double crochet stitches. Once you finish the set of 3, you'll chain 1 when going between corners, just like that. Then work another 3 half double crochet stitches in the corner gap. Once you've worked your 3rd stitch, you can see that the corners are starting to form and we're getting more gaps as we go around. You're just going to chain another 2, just like so, half double crochet into that same corner gap, another 3 times. You can do whatever crochet stitch you like. I'm just using half double crochet because I like its elasticity, but it's not as gappy as double crochet. And you can see that the corners are starting to form. And again, just whenever we are going between corners, it is just a single crochet stitch that you will use to make the gap. So just one more time, I'll show you guys. You just chain once, and that's all you have to do. Then working in the next corner gap, we will half double crochet another set of 3, once that first set of 3 is done, chain 2, and then work on the next set of 3 half double crochet stitches. And now we're going to be working on the last corner. So now that you've chained 1, we're going to yarn over, and I almost made a mistake here. I almost went into the gap that we made from the 2nd row. You want to make sure that you're going into the gap from the 1st row that you made. So we'll make sure that we're going in that stitch. So yarn over, pull through the yarn, and then pull through all 3 loops on the crochet hook, and then just continue to do that till you have a set of 3 half double crochet stitches, just as we had done before. Then chain 2, but instead of doing another 3 half double crochet stitches, we're actually only going to do 2 this time because the starting chain counts as a stitch. So all we have to do to join with it, just like before, is we count up 2 on that chain. We go into the 2nd stitch that is on it, pull through the yarn, it's a little tricky, pull through the yarn, and then pull through to slip. And that is our 2nd row complete. And now we will move on to the last row in this tutorial that I will be showing you, which is the 3rd row. So well done for making it this far. Now, because we are starting in the same gap that we are making the chain in, I'm just going to actually chain 2 because I find chaining 3 kind of warps the shape of the stitches. So I just like to chain 2 for these ones. Now I will yarn over after chaining 1 and go back into the corner. And remember, it's just a single chain because we are going between the corners as opposed to being at the corner. Now I will work another set of 3 half double crochet stitches into this gap. And because we are making a new corner, I will chain 2, and then going back into the same gap to finish off the corner, I will do another set of 3 half double crochet stitches. Once you've finished off that set of 3, you just chain 1 because we are going between corners, and then go into the next gap, and then do another set of 3 half double crochet stitches, just like so. And then because again we are going between corners, it's just chain 1. You guys can keep crocheting along with me here if you would like, but if you want to see how we finish off this row, then please skip ahead to the timestamp that is on screen, and I'll see you there. Okay, so we're just working in this last corner here, doing the final set of 3 half double crochet stitches, and then I will show you how to join up. So as you can see, this is the last part that we will have to do. Is just chain 1, count 2 on that first chain, that counts as our first stitch that we did for the 3rd row. Pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through again, and you have just slipped the stitch, and there you go. That is how you complete the 3rd row of the granny square. And there you have it. That is how you are able to make a granny square. If you want to keep on increasing the size of it, however, you can just follow the instructions here on screen, and it's pretty simple to scale up, which is nice. Essentially what you're doing is, because you are doing 2 stitches in each of the corners, you're essentially only adding an extra 4 sets of stitches for each row that you do. So it's a nice way to scale up your dimensions for whatever project you're doing. And that's it. That's how you make a granny square, how you can size it up, possible projects you can use it for. I hope you guys were able to find this tutorial helpful. It is my first tutorial video here on this YouTube channel, so if you have any feedback for me on how I can improve or any parts that you liked, I'd really appreciate to hear it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and stick around with me. I hope you all enjoy making your granny square projects, and I'll see you again soon.